Have you ever been punished for doing the right thing? Imagine risking your livelihood to help someone, only to find yourself facing the cold, harsh consequences the very next day. It sounds unfair, doesn't it? Yet sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can spark monumental changes in our lives. Welcome to Motivation for Success, where we share real-life stories designed to uplift and inspire you. If you're new here or simply moved by stories of compassion and perseverance, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us continue bringing you stories that remind us of the power of hope and humanity. Today, we delve into the incredible tale of one woman's kindness toward Hollywood star Keanu Reeves, an act that cost her a job but ultimately led to news that changed her life forever. Stick around, because this story proves that even when life seems determined to knock you down, the universe might just have a bigger plan for you. It all began on a frigid morning in early January. The sky above Brookville was layered with thick gray clouds, and a biting wind rattled the windows of the Aurora Dawn Diner, a modest little eatery perched on the corner of a quiet street. Inside, the aroma of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon tried to fend off the cold gloom outside. Sasha Bennett, a 27-year-old waitress known for her warm smile and heart of gold, had just clocked in for her early shift. Sasha wasn't from Brookville originally. She'd moved here a few years back hoping to jumpstart her life with a new beginning. But life had thrown her more curveballs than she ever anticipated. Still, she fought every day to keep her optimism alive. That morning, Sasha was in the middle of refilling a patron's coffee cup when her manager, Mr. Donovan, approached her, looking uncharacteristically tense. "Can I talk to you for a second, Sasha?" he asked, voice low yet urgent. Sasha placed the coffee pot on the counter and followed him into a cramped back office. A single dim light bulb flickered overhead, casting long shadows on the stacks of paperwork. "We've had a complaint," Mr. Donovan said, rubbing the back of his neck. "It's about you leaving the diner during your shift last night." Sasha's stomach tightened. She immediately knew what he was referring to. "I only stepped outside for a moment to return a lost wallet," she explained. "I saw it fall from a customer's pocket. He would have lost it if I hadn't caught him." Mr. Donovan didn't look impressed. "We have rules. No leaving your station without permission. We run a tight ship here." The complaint came from a regular who said you neglected your responsibilities. Shocked, Sasha felt her heart hammering. But it was literally for a minute, and that customer was, she paused, not wanting to name drop. He could have been anyone. "I was just trying to help." "I'm sorry, Sasha," her manager said grimly. "We have to let you go. Clean out your locker by the end of the day." And just like that, before she could even protest, Sasha's world was turned upside down. She had been fired for a single act of kindness. Feeling the crush of injustice and humiliation, she packed her meager belongings and stepped out of the diner, her breath visible in the chilly January air. What neither Mr. Donovan nor Sasha's complaining co-worker knew was exactly who she had helped the night before. It had been a long, quiet evening when a man in a simple ball cap entered the diner, head low. Sasha only noticed him because of his air of exhaustion. He had taken a seat at a booth, quietly ordered coffee, and sipped it in silence. When the diner was about to close, Sasha did her final rounds. That was when she noticed a wallet half hidden beneath the booth the man had occupied. Without a second thought, she grabbed it and dashed out into the cold to find him. He was just about to unlock the door of a black sedan when Sasha called out, "Sir. Sir, wait. You dropped this." The man turned around, removing his cap as he did. She instantly recognized him, Keanu Reeves, a world-famous actor known for his humble nature. He looked at her with a mixture of surprise and relief. Thank you," he said softly, extending a hand to take the wallet. "Did you look inside?" Sasha shook her head, baffled. "No, why would I? It's yours." He stared at her for a moment, seeming on the verge of tears. "You have no idea how important this was." Thank you. Then, almost as if the burden of the day had finally overwhelmed him, he gave her a grateful but tired smile, got into his car, and drove off. Sasha watched the taillights disappear, feeling a profound sense of having done the right thing. She never dreamed, not even for a second, that this gesture of honesty would cost her the job she desperately needed. Now, standing outside the diner on her final day of work, Sasha replayed the event in her mind. Over and over, she questioned if it had truly been worth losing her job. On one hand, she had no regrets about doing the right thing. On the other, her rent was due in 2 weeks, and she had no backup plan. A cold gust of wind bit at her cheeks, and she tightened the scarf around her neck. At least I can hold my head high, she thought. But that reassurance didn't quell the rising panic in her chest. That night, she tossed and turned on her old, creaky couch, too anxious to sleep in her bedroom. She had no idea what tomorrow would bring. The very next day, Sasha was startled awake by the blare of her phone. Her friend Elise had sent a text. "Elise, turn on the news right now. Trust me." Groggy, Sasha fumbled for the TV remote. The local morning news anchor appeared, smiling wide. "We have some heartwarming entertainment news today," the anchor began. Actor Keanu Reeves was spotted in Brookville last night, and he's talking about a mysterious stranger who returned his wallet. Reeves said this act of kindness gave him renewed faith in humanity. He's asked for help finding this angel of kindness so he can personally thank her. Sasha felt her jaw drop. She hadn't told a soul, apart from her coworker, who she had helped. But now the entire town was buzzing with the tale of her good deed. Her phone nearly slipped from her grasp as a wave of shock passed through her. "He's looking for me," she thought, staring at the TV, heart pounding. The anchor continued. Reeves mentioned he was going through a very difficult time and that this stranger's honesty restored his hope. "He says if anyone has information, please come forward." Sasha pressed a hand to her mouth. She felt stunned, overwhelmed, and, if she was honest, afraid. Would coming forward paint her as someone seeking a reward? She had lost her job because of that moment. The last thing she wanted was more trouble. Hours later, Sasha tried to distract herself by searching for new job openings online. Every so often, she'd catch herself gazing at her phone, half expecting it to ring with some miraculous offer. But the phone stayed stubbornly silent, no calls, no texts, no lifeline. Finally, near lunchtime, her phone buzzed again. It was Elise. "Elise, can we meet at the cafe near your place? I have an idea." The Maple Leaf Cafe was just a short walk from Sasha's small apartment complex. She bundled up in her warmest coat and trudged through the windy streets. The cafe was cozy, with wooden tables and large windows letting in a pale winter sun. Elise was already at a corner table, 2 steaming cups of cappuccino in front of her. "I saw the news," Elise said the moment Sasha sat down. "You helped Keanu Reeves, and that's amazing. But you got fired because your boss didn't see it that way." "I'm so sorry, Sash." Sasha shrugged, picking at a scratch on the wooden table. "What's done is done. I just hope I find something soon." Elise leaned forward, eyes bright with excitement. "Why not reach out to the station? Or at least let them know it was you. Maybe they can pass on your information to Keanu. This could be your chance to turn things around. He specifically said he wanted to thank you." Heat flooded Sasha's cheeks. "I don't want him to think I'm after his money. Or that I want attention." Elise shook her head. "I don't think he'll see it that way. He seems genuine. At least think about it." They sipped cappuccinos in reflective silence. Finally, Sasha mustered a small nod. "I'll think about it," she said. "Right now, I need a new job. That's priority number 1. That night, Sasha fell asleep to an unsettling mixture of worry and faint hope. When morning came, she was awakened by a knock on her door. Her heart thudded. It was unusual for anyone to visit this early. She shuffled to the door, half asleep, and peered through the peephole to see a uniformed mail carrier. Opening the door, she accepted a thick envelope. "Sign here," said the mail carrier politely. Sasha scribbled her signature, curiosity piqued by the package. It had no return address. Once inside, she carefully tore it open. Inside was a typed letter on crisp, cream-colored paper. "Dear Miss Bennett. My name is David Harlow, and I'm a personal assistant to Keanu Reeves. Mr. Reeves wishes to extend his gratitude for your recent act of kindness. We understand you prefer not to disclose your identity publicly, but we assure you Mr. Reeves has no intention other than to thank you. Should you wish to speak with us, please call the number below." Her mind reeled. How did they find me? She realized it must have been a combination of local diner records or maybe a tip from a coworker. A swirl of exhilaration and dread filled her chest. What would she say? She stared at the phone number for a long time. Then, with trembling fingers, she dialed it. After 2 rings, a calm male voice answered, "Hello, Miss Bennett. This is David. Thank you for calling." Sasha struggled to find her voice. Hi, yes. It's me. Sasha. You said in your letter that Mr. Reeves wants to thank me. Yes. He's currently in town, but his schedule is somewhat unpredictable. If you're willing, he'd like to meet you in person. David's voice was warm and reassuring. He has a specific time tomorrow if you're available. No pressure. Sasha's knees wobbled. She glanced around her tiny apartment, a flood of insecurity washing over her. What am I doing? She wondered, but something in her heart told her this was the right step. All right, she managed. I'll come. David gave her the address of a quiet office space on the outskirts of Brookville. They set a meeting time, and after exchanging thanks, Sasha ended the call, heart pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. The next day, Sasha arrived at a discreetly elegant building with tinted glass doors and a small silver plaque reading, RS Studios, Private Event Office. She swallowed hard, wiping her damp palms on her coat before stepping inside. A friendly receptionist led her to a comfortable waiting area furnished with plush sofas and abstract art on the walls. After a few minutes, the receptionist returned. "Miss Bennett, Mr. Reeves is ready to see you." Every nerve in Sasha's body felt electrified. She followed the receptionist down a long corridor and into a spacious room with floor-to-ceiling windows. The winter light spilled in, illuminating the space in a soft glow. Seated at a wooden table was Keanu Reeves, dressed in a simple black sweater and jeans. He stood up immediately when he saw Sasha, a gentle smile curving his lips. "Sasha," he greeted, stepping forward with a hand extended. "I'm so grateful you're here." She shook his hand, feeling both awe and the surrealness of the moment. This was the same man she had returned a wallet to mere days ago. The same man whose presence had cost her a job. "Thank you for inviting me," she said softly, nerves making her voice quiver. He gestured for her to sit, then took the seat across from her. For a moment, they both seemed at a loss for words, two strangers connected by an unexpected twist of fate. "So," Keanu began gently, "you have no idea how much your honesty meant. That wallet," he paused, swallowing hard. "It contained more than just money or cards. It had a photograph, something very personal that I thought I'd lost for good." Sasha remembered how he had asked if she looked inside. "I never even opened it," she reiterated. "I just wanted to return it." "That's what's so remarkable," Keanu said, eyes earnest. "These days, people sometimes do the right thing but also expect recognition or a reward. You just helped." Sasha's cheeks warmed. "I was raised to do the right thing. But, well, it got me fired." A shadow crossed Keanu's features. "I heard about that. I'm truly sorry." She shrugged. I'll manage. He cleared his throat, glancing at the table. Listen, there's something I haven't shared publicly. The night you returned my wallet, I'd come from visiting my mother. She's battling a serious illness. My head was all over the place. That small act of kindness reminded me, there's still good in the world. An ache of empathy filled Sasha's chest. I'm sorry you're going through that. How is she now? She's stable, he replied, but it's day by day. And I can't tell you how important that photo in the wallet is to me. It's a reminder of what I'm fighting for. Sasha found herself reaching across the table without thinking. She placed her hand gently over his, a spontaneous show of support. I'm glad you found comfort, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Keanu let out a breath, then sat up straighter. I want to help you the way you helped me. Before she could protest, he pulled out a check, a substantial amount that made her eyes widen in disbelief. No, I can't accept this, she said, drawing back. It's too much. I wasn't expecting. He raised a hand gently, stopping her. This isn't just about money. It's about me showing gratitude. It's about valuing compassion, especially in these tough times. I want to give you a fresh start, whether that means helping you pay your rent, start a small business, go back to school, or simply get back on your feet. Sasha felt tears prick her eyes. Yet again, she was torn between pride and desperation. Her finances were a mess. Rent was overdue, and she had no job prospects. I don't want to be seen as taking advantage of you, she mumbled. You're not, Keanu assured her firmly. I want you to have a chance, one you more than deserve. That night, Sasha returned to her apartment, the check tucked carefully into her coat pocket. She placed it on her coffee table and sat on the worn-out couch, staring at the stark white slip of paper as if it might disappear. Could she really accept it? On one hand, it felt like a lifeline. On the other, it felt like charity. She agonized, pacing the small living area over and over. Sleep was elusive, her mind a tangle of gratitude, confusion, and hope. By sunrise, she still hadn't made up her mind. Sighing, she checked her phone to see a new message from Elise, who was practically her only close friend in Brookville. Elise, you okay? You must be freaking out. Text me if you need to talk. Sasha typed a rushed reply, explaining the entire situation in broad strokes. Moments later, her phone rang. Girl, you need to accept that check, Elise's voice was firm, almost motherly. Why are you punishing yourself for his kindness? You did nothing wrong. In fact, your generosity put you in a bad spot. If he's offering a hand, take it. This isn't about pride. Sasha sank onto the couch, phone pressed to her ear. But I don't want to rely on someone else's money. I want to earn my way. I get that. But maybe see it as a stepping stone, not a final solution, Elise suggested. Use it to buy yourself time to find a better job or pivot your career. Do you even like waitressing? Maybe this is your chance to do something you love. Those words hit Sasha like a revelation. She'd always had a passion for baking, even considered taking classes to become a pastry chef. But that dream always seemed too risky. Now, with a sudden influx of money, was it finally within reach? Later that day, Sasha mustered her courage and texted David Harlow to arrange another meeting with Keanu. She wanted to express her gratitude properly and, if she accepted the help, discuss how to move forward without feeling like a charity case. They met at a small, upscale coffee shop after closing hours, ensuring privacy away from paparazzi or curious onlookers. Keanu was already seated when she arrived, wearing a simple jacket and sipping on tea. The place was otherwise empty, lights low, background music turned off. Sasha slid into the seat across from him, heart pounding. "Thank you for meeting me," she said softly. "Of course." His kind eyes studied her face. "Did you make a decision?" She exhaled a breath she'd been holding. I've never accepted money from anyone like this. But I have a dream I've been too scared to chase, a dream that might finally become possible. I want to go to culinary school to specialize in pastries and open my own little bakery cafe someday. A quiet smile spread across Keanu's face. That sounds wonderful, Sasha. How can I help? She glanced at the tabletop. If I take your check, I want it to be an investment in something real. If I succeed, I'll pay you back or pay it forward. You tell me the best way to honor this gift. His voice softened. Simply promise me you'll do something meaningful with it. And never lose that kindness that makes you who you are. Tears filled her eyes, and she quickly dabbed them away. I promise. In that softly lit coffee shop, Sasha asked the question burning inside her. Why are you really doing this for me? Is it only because I returned your wallet? Keanu shook his head. It's because in a world that's often cynical, you showed me genuine compassion at my lowest moment. My mother's illness has been weighing heavily on me. In that single act, you gave me a thread of hope to hold on to. Now, I want you to have that same hope. Sasha fought another rush of tears. I don't know how to thank you. Truly. You already did, Keanu replied, lightly tapping his chest. Trust me. A few days later, Sasha found herself standing in a stark hospital corridor. She hadn't planned on visiting Keanu's mother, but he insisted, saying that his mother, Ms. Reeves, had heard of Sasha's kindness and wanted to meet the young woman who had reignited her son's faith in humanity. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and was lined with brightly lit artwork to cheer up the patients. Anxiety quivered in Sasha's stomach as she reached the door to Ms. Reeves's room. Keanu was waiting in the hallway, leaning against the wall, looking every bit the anxious son. He offered Sasha a small smile. She's excited to see you. Swallowing her nerves, Sasha entered the room. Ms. Reeves, a frail-looking woman with gentle eyes, lay propped against pillows. Despite her illness, she radiated warmth. Sasha, Ms. Reeves greeted in a soft voice, thank you for everything you did for my son. Sasha approached the bed slowly. I only returned a wallet, she said modestly. Ms. Reeves chuckled. What you returned was his belief in goodness. Don't ever downplay that. Tears pooled in Sasha's eyes as she gently took the older woman's hand. In a matter of moments, it felt as though she were reunited with someone dear, not meeting a stranger for the first time. Over the next few weeks, Sasha's life began to transform. Thanks to Keanu's financial support, which she handled like a personal loan, she enrolled in Brookville Culinary Institute. Her days were now filled with the sweet smells of dough rising, chocolate melting, and sugar being whipped into frosting. Though the coursework was challenging, she felt a passion and purpose she had long thought impossible to achieve. Whenever self-doubt crept in, she remembered Keanu's words, never lose that kindness that makes you who you are. And though her path was now clearer, she never forgot her struggles. She volunteered at a local charity kitchen on weekends, eager to pay forward the kindness she had received. The money that went beyond her tuition, she carefully set aside for her living costs and rent, vowing that if any remained once she found stable footing, she'd donate it to charitable causes. One winter afternoon, Sasha was concentrating on perfecting a caramel glaze for a pastry exam when her phone rang. She wiped her sugary hands on an apron and squinted at the caller ID, unknown number. Curious, she picked up. Hello. A calm female voice spoke, hello, is this Sasha Bennett? I'm calling from Brookville Tidings, our local newspaper. We'd love to do a short feature on you, our sources say you're the mystery waitress who helped Keanu Reeves. Would you be willing to share your side of the story? Sasha hesitated. She had maintained her privacy, not wanting to attract media attention. Yet she also saw a chance to inspire others, especially those who might be in a tight spot like she had been. Maybe hearing her story would encourage someone else to act kindly without fear of consequences. All right, she said softly. But I'd like the article to focus on the importance of compassion and how one small act can change everything. We'd love that, the reporter replied enthusiastically. Let's set up a time to talk. When the feature was published, it highlighted Sasha's journey from losing her job to finding a new purpose. The article also touched on Keanu's mother's health challenges and how this chance encounter brought hope to two people from vastly different worlds. It concluded with Sasha's message, kindness is never wasted. Sometimes, it comes back to you in ways you could never imagine. Months passed, and winter gave way to a gentle spring. Daffodils bloomed around Brookville, brightening the town with specks of sunshine yellow. For Sasha, the gray gloom of that day she was fired was now a distant memory. She was already halfway through her culinary program, and she found a part-time job at a local bakery to hone her skills. Keanu continued to check in, sometimes sending her encouraging texts or dropping by the bakery in disguise to sample her latest creations. His mother's health was still a struggle, but she had good days that gave everyone hope. One afternoon, as Sasha dusted her newly frosted cupcakes with powdered sugar, her phone lit up with a message from Keanu. Keanu, my mom loved your pastries. She wants to make a large order for the hospital staff. Think you can do it? Sasha felt a rush of gratitude and joy. She texted back. Sasha, absolutely. I'll even deliver them personally. Please tell her I'm honored. Hitting send, she realized just how much her life had changed, and all because of a single moment of honesty that led her onto a path she never thought possible. So, what's the takeaway from Sasha's story? Sometimes the right choice isn't the easy choice. She was fired for doing the right thing. But by holding on to her integrity and compassion, she opened the door for extraordinary possibilities. Her kindness not only helped Keanu in a deeply personal way, it also redirected her own life's trajectory toward a dream she had nearly abandoned. In a world often overshadowed by cynicism, a small act of goodness can illuminate the darkest corners, both for the person who receives it and the person who gives it. That's the message. Doing the right thing can set off a chain reaction of positivity you might never see coming. Where are you watching from, and have you ever done a good deed that changed your life in unexpected ways? We'd love to hear your story. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences might just inspire someone else to take that leap of compassion. If this story moved you, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend who needs a dose of motivation, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Motivation for Success. By subscribing, you become part of a community dedicated to uplifting each other through stories that prove the power of hope, empathy, and perseverance. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, never be afraid to extend a helping hand. You never know whose life, and dreams, you might be saving, including your own. Stay kind, stay hopeful, and we'll see you in our next inspirational story.